the recipe. From 2.5 to 3 level cups of sugar. Then you gather your spices. You choose your spices. Get a teaspoon in the beginning. A teaspoon of cinnamon, a teaspoon of nutmeg, and a half a teaspoon of mace. Sometimes you won't be able to find mace. It's very hard to find it. So then you use a tablespoon of cinnamon, a tablespoon of nutmeg. You have a choice. Then you baking powder, 6 teaspoons, level. Take this, and level means after you take the baking powder, go 6 of these, like this. Level the spoon. Then 8 eggs. You could use 6 eggs if you want. 6 to 8 eggs, depending. Then vanilla. I use two tablespoons of vanilla, a 1/4 cup of cognac. And then I start with the flour. As much flour. First I stir in, we'll say, 1/3 of the bag of a 5-pound bag with the mixed. When that gets kind of thick, I stop and I start using my hand, because I burned out a lot of mixed masters because I dilly-dallied with stopping, Less work for me. And the rest I put in by hand. What do I mean? In the bowl, I knead the flour in. Then I see that I could eat more flour. It could take more flour. I can't work with it, so I put more flour in. It depends upon the size of your eggs. That makes a big difference. And how much liquor you put in. If you put 6 eggs and they're large, they could be equal to 8 small eggs. See? But once I tried, I think I put a cup of eggs in. I kept, filling the cup. I didn't pay attention to how much. I said, let's go with that. It's more scientific. Then, the vanilla. You could use, some women are stingy, they'll use a tablespoon of vanilla. Some will use 2 tablespoons of vanilla. If you have good cognac, you use 1 tablespoon of vanilla. You don't have to use all your vanilla. Vanilla is $2 or $3 a bar. And then a little bottle. And as much flour as it takes. If you wish to add salt, you could. Some people like a little salt. But I figure I don't need salt at all. I have spices.
And how
and then you form them. When it's pliable, I don't know what's the word. When it's malleable, you take, I sit in a chair and I have a big board, this big, put it on my lap, and I have the bowl down on the floor, and I take a big lump and put it on there, and I have a knife, and I use my hand. I roll it, that long, I roll it, and then I just take it and swish it. I roll it, then I swish it around like this, and I twist it and put it in. And I count 5, 5, 5, 5 in these big pans. Depends upon how much of a pan she has. Then I paint them with the egg yolk, the egg, what's ever left. Sometimes you take a whole cup of eggs, and you take a little, but take 1 egg and I beat it in a cup. And then I take a little brush, pastry brush, and I paint the pans. When I'm on my last pan of the batter, I like the oven. And the oven should be 375 degrees. And then I put in 1 here in the top, and one of the, there's 2. You put 1 on the top, one on the bottom. And then I have a little thing, a little clock that measures the minutes. And I think it's 15 minutes. The bell rings. I take the top one and I put it on the bottom, and the bottom one on the top, because they have to bake, in the bottom too, and they like to brown a little. And then when I've switched the top to the bottom to the top, another 15 minutes. And then I'm careful, because the oven, the more it works, the hotter it gets, you know. You don't open the door and accumulate. And then I look. Some women have a glass door. That one has, some don't. So they have to open it just to peek. About 4 minutes before the 15 minutes, the latter 15 order, you look and see how much it could take. See? And you've already switched them, so the bottom is getting baked. The top gets browned first, you know, so they're already browned a little. So when you put them down, they get baked. And you do that until you're finished. And then you have a spatula, and you just go like that. I have a soft one that bends, this don't bend. And you loosen them like, you put them on the other platter, and then you take the other one, and then I used to bail them. I used to put them in the 2-pound coffee can when they got cool and send to my sisters, you know. The Greek woman there in Pittsburgh taught me to make them. I used to watch them. I deviated a little bit from their recipe because I didn't want to use a dozen eggs and to a pound of butter. And they're very nice, and they keep. I once went to Greece, and I left 2 cookies, and I stayed for 3 months. When I come back, those 2 cookies were there. I ate them. They were just as good as the day I baked them. And they have that quality because of the alcohol. That's all. What else could I say? They're nice. They're for the people who can't have sweets with icing, you know, cake with rich walnut cake. They could have a plain cake. Very plain. Just 2.5 cups of sugar. And they make about, 36, 30, and 4 of them. 30 times 4, 120, at least 130 sometime. 130, 2.5 cups of sugar. That's not a heck of a lot of sugar if you eat one. You could take 2 and put cream cheese or jelly or peanut butter. If you really want it sweet, you can put peanut butter and jelly between them. And you've got something. Or just plain cream cheese for breakfast. You could eat them for breakfast. Yeah, they call them biscuits, the Italians. But they make them different. They don't put spice in. They just put eggs and, yeah. And they make them, you see how they are, hard, you dunk them. They're brown. Those you have to make them like this, bake that whole thing. Then you cut them diagonally, and then you bake them again. You put them in the pan, standing up, where they were this way, but you put them on one side, and then you turn them over and put them in, and they get brown. And they keep. Some put almonds in them, sliced almonds, you know. Some people grind some almonds and put them in. You could do a lot of variations. But they could start with the recipe I gave you. 6 or 8 eggs, 2.5 to 3 cups of sugar, 1 pound of butter, cognac, 1/4 cup, and vanilla, and nutmeg, cinnamon, mayonnaise.
How do you know what mayonnaise?
Mace.
How do you know how much flour to use?
By the feel of the ability, well, here's what you do for the experimentation. You take a lump from the batter when you think it's ready, when it's thick, like, you know, and you go like this to it in your hands, and you say, could I, and you roll it, see, in the bowl. You don't take it out so you don't save yourself labor. You go like this, and you say, could I roll it into one this size, and turn it around? I got so lazy after a while, I didn't bother to twist. I just rolled it this size, turned it like this, and put it down. Some families have their patterns.
What does it feel like when it's ready? When the flour is ready?
You could mold it.
I see.
Just like kids play with clay, and they make pigs and dogs. Well, it's the same thing. You could feel. And if you see you're having trouble, take 1/2 cup and put it in the batter again to make it more thicker, more firm. It's the degree of firmness. You will know when you can't work with it. and it doesn't hold its shape. When it won't hold its shape, you know you need more flour. See? Experience is important. The books tell you, but you have to do it and do it and do it. That's all.
Yeah.
Did you finish?
Yeah.